All right, Jay here. We got our best products of 2021 for you. Stick around and check it out. Okay, so we have a lot of really good products we use every year. We're always finding new stuff. Some of this stuff isn't new for 2021. It's stuff that we maybe have discovered in 2021 or now have a bunch of time on and feel good about recommending it to you. So, and there's a wide range of products from tools to cleaners to apparel to parts that you'd use on your bike. So we are kind of into it all. So first thing I'm going to mention is our link. If you're going to shop at Rocky Mountain ATV, click on the link in our description. You can click on that, go through there to purchase. Easy, simple deal. Everybody kind of knows how that works nowadays. So the next thing I'm going to show you is OnX Offroad. I'm going to come over there right in front of our camera a little bit, Nani. Can we see that? So this is a little couple different, these different colors are different trail ride days we did there in our latest trip to St. George, Utah, Cedar City, Utah, right there. So this OnX is really cool at tracking maps. One of the nice things about these type of apps is with OnX you can have waypoints. You can set waypoints. You can come back and look at your ride and see how far you went. All those types of things. Like with a lot of them, one of the really nice features of this one is you can actually see, if you pay for the premium version, you can actually see landowners' land. So that's a really cool feature. If you guys are trail riding a lot, even mountain biking a lot, you can learn a lot on the OnX Offroad. So that's a really cool app for you guys. And now we'll kind of get started on some other parts per se. Let's start first with All Balls Racing. They make this really cool little kit. Boom. And it has fuel filters for your KTM or other such models, right? Fuel filters for those bikes. These fuel filters are a must to have in your van, your hydration pack if you're on the trail. We've used these things quite often. They do clog up and they prevent serious problem in your fuel injection system. So really cool little thing to have, and it's cool that All Balls, there's the part number right there, has made these things really quick, easy, nice kit for you. Also, they now have a complete fuel pump, just like so, for KTM model family bikes. Like this comes with all the O-rings and everything you need to put a whole new fuel pump in your bike. Those are some really cool parts from All Balls. One of the goggles we've been using for years is X brand. Their new goggle has a way quicker, easier way to install the lenses. It has a bigger viewing area to view and much better foam, so it's more comfy on your face, not as uncomfortable as some of the older style goggles. So we really like these new goggles. They also, the lenses, which we like blue a lot, they come in this kind of shape so that you don't distort the view as much when they go to install. Everything's really nice with the view. So that's a really nice, and when I say higher end goggle, it's probably at the lower cost wise of the higher end goggles out there. So that's a real good one. While we're right here, I'm going to mention ODI. Last year I mentioned them. I talked about the lock-on grips that we use. Now we're really sold on the Flight Bars, and these are the Champ bend. We like these bend a lot taller than the stock KTM Husky bikes. They're a good amount taller and still fairly straight, and a really comfy spot for most of my guys. Seem to really like this bend bar, and that's Champ bend Flight ODI. Also, we get the same bend in the one with the crossbar, but I kind of prefer this one. I think the one with the crossbar is Podium. R50. Now this is not remotely new, but I've been using this for about 20 plus years, and a great two-stroke oil for when we are two-stroke, and this is what we use, and we've had nothing but great success with this oil. It's a really good oil long-term for your two-strokes. IMS. Really cool catch can. This goes inside the frame. You do have to drill one little hole right here for this inside the frame. Some guys don't drill the hole and just back the screw out and make it snug. We prefer just to drill the hole. It's not too big a deal to drill the hole into the frame. And you run your hoses up. They have good instructions in there. And it's a bit of a job. Every single Sunday did a little video with me, and he's got a video on his site that'll show you how to install. I'll give you some tips on installing anyway if you need some help. These go in the frame in a KTM family of bikes, Husky, Gas. They will fit right inside the frame on 16 and up models. I don't know about the newer, 23 style bikes, but the 16 to 22 bikes, right in there. Great for sure on all the dual sports and trail bikes. Something easy to add to your bike. With 3D printed parts, they can do a lot of neat things without having to have the big expense of making a mold or additional CNC tooling to build something. Extreme Wannabes makes these helmet mounts, which fit. They're designed for each particular helmet. And so they fit really well and give a great view for your camera out in front of your helmet. It's just a great view right there if you want it for your action camera. And they fit really well right there. The downside being is it's stuck there, and they don't come off. They're there. So, but we really like this view. Really cool way to 3D print something is with a helmet mount. AK Technologies out of Canada makes funnels, which are really cool. Obviously, not everyone needs a high dollar funnel, but they are pretty dang cool. So if you have Yamaha, you get a Yamaha one. They have a vent right here so that it pours in a little faster, and they've tried to make them kind of the right size so that they don't hit the pipe as you're going in on that pipe side of the bike. And so he's got them for most of the current models. And now if you're not in Canada, they're a little bit difficult to get. So Taco Moto in Las Vegas, who specializes in EXCs, trail bikes, the dual sports, he is importing these. So he has these available in the US for guys that are looking for these funnels. And some other AK Technologies products. He has those. Okay. The last 3D printed thing I'm going to show you is this really cool deal from a guy in Australia called JP167. And he has a suspension shop over there too, and I can't remember the name of that, but that's his tag. He made me up this really cool lower triple clamp bearing greaser. And it can hook your gun on here, spin around, and it packed those grease really well on your bearings. And he's making me a new KTM size one. This one's for a Yamaha. So we have that, and that sizing is just a little bit different for some of the makes and models out there. Okay, so that's it there. Now the next thing, let's talk about some. One last thing on the 3D printed is Motominded. Has got into this also, and they make this one out of like some rubbery materials for our license plate holders on our EXCs, our dual sports. Really minimalistic, lightweight back there. I've been running it on a couple bikes and really like them, so that they're really cool. Now we're ready for tools. First one, here's my Porter cable. I've had this like 5 or 6 years, and the thing is, I use it a lot, and it's working really well. Come with 2 batteries. I just bought it on Amazon. These things are really nice to have around the shop, lightweight, when you're doing a bunch of deals. Motion Pro makes some really cool little, bits for it, which go in and out. And I keep an 8mm on here all the time, and easy to swap out. Now, while we're talking about Motion Pro, they have a lot of cool tools. Bead Buddy being one of the main ones. If you're doing tires, you see my videos, we use a Bead Buddy, of course, with the Motion Pro tire spoons. And then with cool tools, they have this year, they have a couple of these, like this one, we call it a hooker. It hooks into the hoses and will break those hoses loose. Even after your clamps off, some of these are stuck and you're prying a screwdriver in there. These things you can go around and break it loose and then pull it off. Obviously be careful when you're using this kind of stuff, but this is a really cool new tool. Also, we got the pipe spring puller, and this one, it makes it solid like this, and if it's like this, it's bendable like this with the cable. And if you lock it out here, not. So solid. Really cool tool. Air chuck, that's new. Fancy air chuck. Really cool tool if you're looking for something like that as well. Now, last tool. I didn't mention this on my other video, but this is for draining the oil on, you can use it on some 4-strokes as well, but it's really for 2-strokes. But on the 4-strokes, we had Tokyo Off-Road built this one that fits the 4-strokes out the filter screen if you don't want to take that skid plate off. On the bigger 450 and 500s, it's a pain taking the skid plate off if you don't want to deal with it. So you can put this into that hole with the bike laid over, drain your oil. We do this on the 2-strokes. Tokyo Off-Road makes one, and so does Bulletproof out of Missouri in the US here. That's really cool. Okay, next cool tool. I like tools. This has been around a while. I haven't really shown this before in other videos I have, but this is a Sprocket Stuff, right? Right, Donnie? SprocketStuff.com. Although I don't think their site even works. I tried this a while back. I got these from ECC. These things are awesome. They hold the front sprocket while you're taking it off or loosen it, so you're not messing up your transmission. You don't want to be leaving it in gear, and guys will try to do that. This is the best way to tighten down your sprocket, is to have it buffed out against the swing arm. It's held it's secure. You're not putting any load on the transmission. So that's, and I leave the bike in neutral when I'm doing this, and that thing works really well. You adjust these little bolts right here for the size, 13 or 14 sprocket, whatever you're running. It actually has more, but we only use 13 or 14 typically. So really cool, easy tool to have. Next tool, I like to keep talking about tools. Moto has, this isn't anything revolutionary, but they've made up some fuel pressure gauges, just like this. I think this is like 50 to 55 bucks or something. And if you're working on a bunch of KTMs, or you and your buddies have them, Husky gas bikes, this is a nice thing to have because you can check your fuel pressure really easily. You can, and with it being a longer hose, you can route it kind of through the shroud and have it to where you could see it while you're riding, and just go up and down the road and make sure the pressure is good at idle and also at riding, that you can check your pressure. So really cool tool. Okay, next tool, kind of a part but more of a tool. When you're adjusting your valves on any bike, they have valve shims, any of the newer bikes. And now we have them for the KTMs, Hot Cams does, and those are really cool. You can see all the sizes they have here, all the different sizes. So if you're going to do a valve adjustment, you want one of these kits before you tear into it, so you're not having to go, oh, I need to go get these few shims, and you go to your shop and they don't have them. You want to have a shim kit to start with. Okay, next thing, handguards. Enduro Engineering makes these wraparound handguards. I really like these handguards because they're minimalistic. Now, I will say that they're pretty specific on the size of this. So you want to call them to tell them the size of your bars when you order these. So you make sure you get the right one for your handlebars. They have a few different sizes with different numbers on here, or letters in some cases, but it's like 4 and 6 at a T. So you have different ones for different bars. I think we use 4 and 6 are the main ones we use. So that's those right there. I really like those because they're nice. They're lighter weight for a wraparound handguard. They're not that heavy for what they are. And on trail bikes, I really like to run wraparound handguards. Okay, so our next product here is a clutch weight. This is on a KTM model bike. We have this in our 350 XCF, and we've run these things in a few of the bikes, the EXCs and different bikes. This clutch weight acts as a little bit of a flywheel weight like we're used to in the older two-strokes, so that gives it that little bit more chuggy feel, less likely to stall, and so we run that on our bikes. We really like to add this added clutch weight. Blaze Racing makes this, and I think it's 7 ounces, and it's fairly easy to install. Just got to pay attention a bit. It comes with these bolts that are a little bit stronger and longer for setting this thing up. So if this next bit, we've been setting up our buddy Donnie's adventure bike, his 890R, right? And we've been getting that thing set up, and we have a new Voyager GPS from Trailtech. That's a really cool unit. To mount this thing really sano, you need the Vanash billet aluminum mount. This thing's really cool, and so those two things together can really set up this whole unit. If you want to be the ultimate adventure bike setup with your GPS, this is it. Okay, Works Connection's been around since like 1989. I was barely out of high school. Okay, and they make really cool clutch perch. Now, a lot of guys are saying we don't need a clutch perch because we have a newer KTM. We have, well, any KTM, right, for the last 20 years, has a hydraulic clutch. The new Kawasaki's, the new Hondas, 450, right, and what else? I mean, most everything's kind of heading that direction, right? There's still a lot of bikes with cable clutches, and when they are on those bikes, we always will switch right to this. Gives a great feel. We really like the feel of this. A little stronger, also spins better, so less likely to get bent, all those things. So a really good product from Works Connection on their Elite Perch setup, and it comes with all 3 pieces to do that. Okay, Supersprox are the chain and sprockets we use, and really like those, and not much really fancy with front sprockets, but what they have done for the KTM Husky models is add in this cool little washer. It gives it a cool look right here, and you can run the blue or this kind of orange goldy one, just like that. You don't run both of them, you run one or the other. So that's a really cool deal with the new front sprockets from Supersprox for you. All right, we have a few things from Moto here. We're on our EXC build that we're working on. He has a really cool light we'll be putting on here that's a all-in-one light. Running light, brake light, blinkers, all integrated into one. Now this might not be totally legal depending upon where you're at, but it sure beats getting your blinkers broken off on any type of trail ride. So really cool setup. We've liked it. We've been running that for a bit on one of our bikes and really like it. He also has these really cool little hose kits. These hose kits are for if you're adding a aftermarket fuel tank. You change your fuel lines around on your fuel injected bike. These bends right here, you can make one of these work for where you really need it. You can hold it in there, figure it out, and then cut your hose, and then you have your, is it like Zeus, what are these fittings called? Anyway, crimp fittings, and I have the tool and everything. Really cool tool. So you want to get those. And so that's a really cool, another cool thing from Takamoto. He also sells really cool battery chargers. This one's a lithium-ion charger, so that it's safe for all these newer generation batteries, which we don't have to charge very often where we live. We're riding quite regularly, and it's not very cold, so we don't wipe out our batteries. And so he also has one that a battery charger that works on lead acid and the lithium-ion batteries, so you don't have to worry about which battery you're hooked up to. So he has both of those types of batteries. And speaking of batteries, we run the Tusk lithium-ion battery. We really like this one. This one's been really good. They were out for a long time. I think they maybe changed suppliers, whatever. This new one's been really good, and really happy with this in all of our KTM bikes that we've been using in men. And then scrubbing bubbles. They don't pay me, but we have this around the house, and it's a really good cleaner to have on your bikes when you get back from washing. Sprayed on the tires. After it's all, I do it after the bike's wet. Get the bike wet. We've washed it. It's like 90% done. We spray it down in any of the dirty spots. It's a really good cleaner. If you can get your scrubber and scrub on the seat, any types of places you have extra dirt, the frame, the pipe, the head pipe. If you got any marks on there, burnt marks, we use it for any of that kind of stuff. It has a little bit of a bleach in it for bathroom cleaner, so it works really well. One of the last things here, the drop from FMF. This is a subscription-based t-shirt service where you get it every month. But unlike what were those things, the Record House Club where you'd get your CD every month? Columbia House, you get your thing. This, you can pause this, cancel this at any time. There's no obligation. So, and every month it comes with a t-shirt, which is all custom. They're only available through this. The t-shirts are not sold separately. So they're not just, a lot of places do this kind of stuff and they just send you the shirt that there are too many of or whatever. They haven't sold, right? And they also have another little gift in there each time, some different type of gift. As you can see, last month's gift was this cool flag, kind of a neat thing. Looks great in the shop hanging out. So really cool service. If you want to have a fresh t-shirt every month, you can go with the drop from FMF. It's in our link tree for you to click on. Okay, so that's a look at some really cool products. Always feel free to email us if you have any questions on products or need some help on things. You can email us. That's way more appreciated than DMing or asking questions anywhere else. Is send us an email. If you can't find our email, you probably don't deserve your question answered because it's easy to find in bio, everything. Go find it. It's easy. Email us if you have any questions. If you're watching this after Christmas time, and you didn't get what you want, hopefully this gives you some ideas throughout the rest of the year, and you can just go buy yourself whatever you think you deserve.